If you're thinking about moving to Nanaimo, BC, you might be surprised how often a Vancouver condo budget can turn into a house here. One of the first questions people ask is Nanaimo actually more affordable? When people start researching relocating to Vancouver Island, housing is usually the first comparison they make. According to early 2026 market reports, the benchmark price for a detached home in Greater Vancouver is about $1,850,000. While in Nanaimo, the average sale price for a single-family home sits around $800,000, making Vancouver roughly 130% more expensive. Even condos in Vancouver are almost at the Nanaimo single-family home levels of $704,000 in the beginning of 2026. Another way to picture it is the price gap between the two markets is often around $1 million for the same market segment, and for many buyers coming from Vancouver, that single difference is what makes them start seriously exploring Nanaimo. When people begin researching relocating to Vancouver Island, affordability is usually the first thing they try to understand. Housing prices, transportation, costs, and everyday expenses all come into the conversation. But once people start looking more closely at living in Nanaimo, the interesting part is that affordability doesn't just show up in the big numbers, it starts to show up in the daily routines. How far you drive, where you park, and how long it takes you to get to work and the grocery store, or a trail. These quietly shape the cost of living here. Parking is another difference people notice quickly. In Vancouver, parking can be expensive and sometimes extremely hard to find, while in Nanaimo, most homes come with a driveway. Garages are common, and it's not unusual to see space for a boat, trailer, or RV, which people coming from a denser city can feel like a lifestyle change on its own. Transportation is where the shift really starts to show up. Most places in Nanaimo are reachable in about 20 minutes. Work, groceries, kids' activities, and all those trailheads are all fairly close together. Less time driving usually means less gas, less wear and tear on the vehicles, but it also means a lot more time in the day. This is a massive win for life. You start noticing it in everyday moments, like Saturday mornings at the farmer's market, hearing vendors setting up tents and people catching up with their neighbors over coffee, while fresh produce that was probably picked the day before fills the tables. Because most neighborhoods are nearby, stopping in doesn't take much planning anymore. The same goes for getting outside. In larger cities, getting to a good hike can take a while, but here many trails are 10 or 15 minutes away. You can step out of the car, hear the wind moving through the forest, and you're already at the trailhead. Those small logistics shape how often people actually get outside. After a year or two of living in Nanaimo, a lot of people describe the same shift. Life feels a little less rushed. Dinner out can be more manageable too, and cost comparisons show that a typical mid-range restaurant meal in Nanaimo is about 20 to 25% cheaper than in Vancouver. This is largely because commercial rents and operating costs are lower, and those get passed down to you as the consumer. There are still trade-offs though. Some specialty grocery store items can be more expensive on the island, and sometimes travel requires a ferry or a connecting flight. But once you're here, exploring Vancouver Island becomes easier. Weekend trips to Tofino, driving north for a few days, or heading down to Victoria are simple options because you're already on the island. For many people looking at moving to Nanaimo, BC, the affordability conversation comes back to two foundations of everyday life, and that's housing and transportation. When those two things shift, people gain both financial freedom and the ultimate luxury of time. If you're researching relocating to Vancouver Island, we've put together some resources to help you get started. You can download our Nanaimo buying and selling guides below, and there's also our relocation guide down below. Please reach out. If you need help exploring neighborhoods or exploring the Nanaimo real estate market, we're always happy to talk about it and talk it through. Just local perspective to help you decide if Nanaimo fits your lifestyle. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. We come out with new videos weekly. Bye for now.
You guys want a picture?
Sure. Sure.